Alright, for the general purpose is to inform, and then my specific purpose is to address the political life and the history of Abraham Lincoln. So, by the show of hands, how many of you know what year Abraham Lincoln became the 16th president of the United States? Alright, so I see some hands. So, for those of you that don't know, like, what year he became the 16th president of the United States, he became president in 1861. That's quite some time, in like throughout 2 centuries, so that's a long time. Okay, now, so my purpose today is to be talking about the political life and history of Abraham Lincoln. The president, the 16th president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. All right, so now, so the information I will be presenting to you is that it's going to be very important to me because some people will not know about Abraham Lincoln. So the information I will be sharing to you is very important to me because not much people know him, and I'm going to be sharing his political life and history. That way you know more about Abraham Lincoln, and so people can know him more. All right. So moreover, I'm going to be talking about first is the political life of Abraham Lincoln, about his struggles throughout his political battles and hardships, and then I'm going to be talking about the history of Abraham Lincoln, which could be birth date, birthplace, and then any types of events and purpose that he's done. So now I'm going to be going over the political life of Abraham Lincoln. All right, for starters. So according to Carp in an article called "The Great Uncompromiser," says that yet throughout the 45 years of my life, the gap between the personal and the political, he would say that the gap can't get any larger than that. So I'm saying, which means that he's done this political debates and political hardship he's done for quite some time now, for a very long time. And it just goes to show that he went through all kinds of hardships. Alright, now, so what else he did throughout his political life is that he had to go through some hardships with the great tax wars. So according to the author, named Jenny B, in an article called "The Great Tax Wars," says that Abraham Lincoln and Simon P. Chaser delivered the first taxes in Hemp's attempt to get some funds for the war, so that way they can afford stuff for the war and for taxes and stuff like that. So this article just pretty much to talk about like his political his life, like his political place, like what he's done to get to his presidency, how to get through it. So now, the second thing I kind of have in mind in his political life is that he been into some Senate races, but of course he failed in some of them. So, according to by these two authors named Goodwin and Yearns, an article called "The Master Games," says that in this political experience he only had one single term of Congress, and that since he only had like less experience in Congress, he ended up failing 2 Senate races. So this goes to show that had to go a lot of hardships and a lot of doubts in order for him to get to his presidency now. All right. Now that I talked about his political life, I'm now going to be talking about his history, their debate, birth date, anything, or any events and sorts. So Abraham Lincoln at some point was born on some kind of date. According to Kirkus, in an article called "Abraham Lincoln: Birth and New Freedom," he was in February 12, 1809. In Hyden, Kentucky. It just shows that the article kind of just shows he was born at that point. Okay, now for more history about Abraham Lincoln is that So more as that he will be the person that will be shaping the United States. In an article, and so for example, the author named Kirkus in an article called Abraham Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, Birth of a New Freedom. It says that so nor can he take the future about his nation. About his nation resigning slavery and injustice. This kind of just shows that he's gonna some point try to deal with it in some point in time in the future. And now for the second thing, more history about Abraham Lincoln is that he had to some point in the future he had to deal with slavery in some point. So according to the author, Salvatore, in an article called History Bites, mashing history and political hardings, and then so Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter says that the reduced contrivance, which means the end of slavery, to put an end to slavery. So now that for a conclusion, now I talked about the political life of Abraham Lincoln, how he went through struggles and then his hardships, and then I talked about the history of Abraham Lincoln, his birth date, and everything, and events and his purpose. Now I reached a conclusion where I give you a lot of information about him, and then I met my goal. Thank you so much. Okay, this is my live audience. Yay!